But now it's finally time for the moment we've all been waiting for. I'm joined now by the main man himself, Nigel Farage. Nigel, welcome to the show. Just seeing a sneak preview of you talking with Donald Trump about NATO, really getting the juices flowing about how Trump was on form and holding no punches, as you'd expect. The NATO issue, Nigel, is massive. Tell us about it.
The NATO issue is huge. You see, he made this comment at a rally a few weeks ago where he said, look, if people don't pay the 2%, if people don't pay the membership fee, then Russia can just do what the hell it likes. That has been taken by all those in favour of the European Union, all the globalists, and they've all said, you know, from people like Malcolm Rifkin, the former Foreign Secretary, right the way through, and people are saying, right, so if Trump wins, America pull out of NATO, so we must have a full European Defence Union, some even talking about the EU having its own nuclear weapons. And I was so worried about this. If there was one thing I wanted to get from this interview, it was a clear, definitive answer from Trump on where he really stood on NATO and in particular American leadership of it. And he's absolutely clear that when he makes those comments, they are a negotiating tactic. That's what he does. Read the book, The Art of the Deal. It's all there. But I asked him, you know, what would happen if Poland was invaded? And he said, look, he said, provided everyone's paid their money, we are with you 100%. And I hope that puts to bed some of these ridiculous stories that have been put out. And I hope we have a much deeper think ourselves about the extent to which we are getting involved with European defence treaties.
And Nigel, this kind of brinksmanship is what we saw from Donald Trump in the first time around. Do you get a flavour, having been up close and personal, looking him in the eyes, spending time with him off camera, we're going to get the same, but with bells on, if he gets back in for a second time?
Oh, I think Trump 2.0 will be quite something. He will be uninhibited. He will also, then, here's the real difference, he'll have a team of experienced professionals around him, which he did not have in January 2017 when he first walked into the White House. The whole feel of the Trump operation, the whole buzz at Mar-a-Lago, it's so much more professional than anything he's ever done before. And you know what? At the moment, he's winning and winning big, and particularly, you look at the key 6 or 7 states that will decide who wins the presidency, he's now comfortably ahead in nearly all of them. So, yeah, you know, despite massive fines being imposed from New York and all these different court cases that he's facing, despite everything, his resilience and optimism, it really is quite extraordinary.
And Nigel, Barack Obama was in Downing Street yesterday. Of course, the last time he was here, he was telling Brexiteers would be at the back of the queue. Did Donald Trump give any indication of what he might be like if he was working with Sir Keir Starmer, if Sir Keir Starmer were to get in as Prime Minister in Britain?
Yeah. Well, I did ask that question. I did say that it's, you know, odds on, big time, that Keir Starmer will be in number 10. And Trump made it clear there's been no communication of any kind between him and the Starmer camp. And my worry really is not so much Starmer, but it's frankly David Lammy. If David Lammy carries on from being the shadow foreign secretary, the full job. You know, he has said that Trump is a woman-hating neo-Nazi. Now, quite difficult, isn't it, to do business when you've said something as highly abusive as that. And this is why I keep making this point. And everyone thinks it's me offering myself for the job. But we're going to need an ambassador in Washington with a Labour government that can have a proper conversation and act as an intermediary between the two governments. And we need somebody who's not your standard Oxbridge Foreign Office type, someone that actually knows Trump and can do the right thing.
And Nigel, that brings me neatly on to my next question. We've had a lot of emails in here asking about if you're going to work for Donald Trump. Christine here says this: Nigel in Florida, it makes me very nervous. We need Nigel back in Britain to save our country.
Well, look, it keeps the newspapers amused, doesn't it? You know, some of them write that I could be Britain's ambassador to Washington. Others write I could be Trump's ambassador to London. Others say I'm coming back into frontline politics. Martin, I'm just a humble broadcaster, merely going about my life. And if people want to have fun speculating, well, good for them.
Yeah, you're being very humble there. Looking very dapper as well, I've got to say, in the sunglasses, poolside there. I want to ask you one final question. People talk about the mental competency of Joe Biden a lot, and the Biden camp have tried to spin this back onto Donald Trump. Up close, up personal, is this a guy you think is ready to rule America?
Do you know, in some ways, he looks fitter and healthier than he did way back in 2016. You know, for a guy approaching 78, he looks really well. He's shed weight from his time as president. He is absolutely fit. And mentally, well, he might make the odd mistake. Who doesn't? We do, Martin. With our job, we all make the odd mistake. Joe Biden makes several every day. That's a very, very big difference. Trump is as fit as I've ever seen him.
Superb stuff. Nigel Farage, thank you so much for taking time out to join us. I know you're incredibly busy, and of course that exclusive is on your show tonight, 7 p.m. You will not want to miss it. Thank you, Nigel Farage.